All right. Welcome, everyone. Some people recognize that Dolly Parton was singing on that song, so she was indeed. And we are here getting ready to set up our weekly spread. My name's Maya, and I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado. We had a lovely cool-ish summer day. I guess it was probably mid 80s, 90s. I wasn't outside a lot because I was prepping all of those September slides for all of our September socials that we have coming up. And let me tell you, there are some super exciting ones coming up. So I hope to see you all at those too. But for tonight, I know there's some folks who are new, and I've been keeping an eye on the app, and I see lots of new people joining us, which is great. We love our Sonder fam getting bigger and bigger. First of all, be sure to set your chat to everyone so that you can so that everyone can hear, see what you're saying. And I see some people I'm not muted, so I don't know. Bailey is our stage manager, and she is here, and she says she can hear okay. I do know that if you're on a phone, and sometimes if you have the chat open, the sound disappears. So can be kind of tricky there. So hopefully everybody can get that working. So let's see. So we do have the self-care gift raffle. So anyone who signs up and attends a Sonder Social will be entered into that. You don't have to do anything extra other than be here. And once a month, they will draw a name for someone who will win a super fun gift care basket. So let's get started because we have a lot to set up for the week. I will say this one's still going to be as if we're finishing up August. So the August theme is replenish. I know some people are moving over to their September journals for next month, or to set up this week. And it's always kind of one of those, whatever you are more comfortable with. Bailey and I were actually talking about this earlier, and I was kind of like, I'm ready to be done with August, so I'm going to move over to September. But I know some folks like to finish out in August. So we're going to finish out August. We're going to finish out with replenish. Just know that we have balance coming up for next month. So we're going to do a little warm-up activity, which is the one that we do for these for all of these weekly setups. We kind of have this mind mapping idea with the theme. So we're going to finish out our fifth. And I see some people are saying they're filling out both. They're going to have both journals going. I know, it's one of those where I really wish sometimes we could just have months that always only had the 28 days in it. So it would be nice for accounting purposes to try to do this. And then we're going to get into our weekly setup and close out. So with this month, finishing up this idea of replenishing, we are going to do mind mapping in September, Crystal. So next weekend, next Sunday, there'll be the new mind map for balance. But so this month, we're going to finish up with, we looked at 5 different areas. We're going to finish up with the social aspect of our lives. Yes, Amber, I am all for changing the calendar to make our journaling easier. So if you haven't joined us before, what we like to do is take our theme, and then each week we explore a different area of our lives where we can kind of focus how that theme is playing out. So you can see week 1, we were talking about mind. Week 2, we were in body. Week 3, spirit. Last week was our environment. And this week is social. So let me give you, here's mine. Don't laugh at my scribbly little drawing. So you can see there's a couple different ways you can think about social, right? You can think about replenishing social in terms of replenishing your social calendar, your social contacts. So maybe it's things like making some phone calls to people you haven't talked with for a while, or setting up some lunch dates with people you haven't seen, or kind of getting that in the flow for the week. Maybe sending postcards. I love sending random postcards to people. I buy from the post office the roll of 100 postcard stamps. And then I just kind of every week try to throw some different postcards out, which is always fun. So that's one way you could think of it, right? How you want to increase your social interaction. The other way that you could think about it would be that it could be about recharging your social battery. So for folks who maybe aren't extroverts, or even people who are extroverts but have been with a lot of people, right? Because it can be kind of draining sometimes to be with a lot of people and be in social situations. So this area to replenish might be to replenish your social, that social battery. So things like scheduling downtime, saying no to different, different events, and maybe taking a tech break, right? Maybe it's thinking about, like the social media and kind of thinking about taking a break from that. So whichever way you want to focus on that, that's absolutely fine. You can, if you haven't had a chance to fill out in some of the other ones, now you can see kind of the whole month of replenish and how we are going to replenish these different areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little song. You're welcome to share in the chat the different ways that you're replenishing that social area of your life. And then I will pop back in and check on you. Okay, so some good ideas from folks kind of talking about, maybe going to movies with friends, having lunch with friends, calling folks on the phone. I will say I'm not a huge phone person. I pretty much only call my parents. Every once in a while, I'll talk to one of my sisters on the phone, but primarily it's text message, Instagram, Facebook. We have a family group on Facebook that's private, so nobody can see our family communication. So we'll chat back and forth there on Facebook. And I see a lot of folks are kind of talking about being an introverted extrovert. So kind of sometimes it's good to be with a lot of people, but then every once in a while they need that replenishment, and they need that time, that downtime to really kind of fill your cup again, right? So kind of thinking about all those different things. It's a nice thing with social. Think about all these different pieces: mind, body, spirit, environment, all of those pieces also feed into how much we really feel like we can be, being social. And I see, like some folks are saying, maybe I should be more social, or maybe I'm not social enough. Again, think about being social or being in social situations can be very different, right? I don't like to go to really loud places to try to, have conversations with friends. Sometimes just having people over to the house is nice, or just sitting on the back porch and chatting. Again, coming to these socials is great. It's one way to be able to, be social with other people without necessarily kind of having the sometimes the stress of being in person. There's lots of different groups that do the Zoom meetings and those kinds of things. So sometimes those can help with the social piece as well. All right. So now we've all these different ways to replenish, right? And this is a good, now when you kind of get this fleshed out and you get all these pieces filled in, every time when we do these different mind mappings for the different themes, it's a good idea to maybe take a picture of this or kind of save it. And then you don't have to worry about saving your journal, because some folks save and some folks don't. So let's get into week 35, our weekly planner. And I really love this artist, the latest Kate. She always has really fun, cute little pictures and kind of the nice little affirmations to kind of help with feeling better. And this one is, the amount of recharge time you need is entirely reasonable, right? And so the little sleepy dragon on the toadstool is cute. And I know a lot of folks are having some struggles with the sound. I'm sorry about that. I know sometimes if you log into Eventbrite, it doesn't work, which of course it doesn't help me if I tell you how to fix the sound, but you have trouble with sound. So I think people are taking care of that in the chat. So sorry about that. So let's turn into, again, whichever, if you're using finishing up August, that's great. You're finishing up your last week there, finishing up, starting the week in September, or I know there's folks going back and forth. However you want to do it is absolutely fine. So this is a really good place to really kind of help set your intention for the week, how you want to feel for the week. And think about this as a good way to kind of go back and look at, as you set your as you set up everything else for your week, right? So when you talk about setting up your goals and you set up your to-dos and those kinds of things, you may want to go back to this, how you set things up. So I like, there's the person on the top left who's made kind of a little acrostic content, and they made kind of a little little poem or little, the acrostic with the words there. You can use stickers. You can have a phrase. You can list multiple things, different kinds of pictures. And then I'll also give you, I think that's the last one. Yeah. So I'll also leave up the emotions wheel. So you can, if you're like, I'm not sure which emotion or how I want to feel or what I want to feel like this week, again, it can be multiples of these. So think about how you want to feel this week. Let us know in the chat if you want, like what your word is or what your phrase is. It could, again, it could be an affirmation. It could be a quote, whatever works for you. And then I will check back in. right. So lots of good feelings. The chat was kind of flowing with all these great words. We saw optimistic, fulfilled, heard, healthy, productive, connected, confident, energized, motivated, fabulous. Lots of great words. And I feel sending out lots of hugs and well wishes for folks who are still dealing either with the COVID or the after effects of COVID or other health issues. Those can be really tough. So give yourself some grace again as you're kind of going through the week and as you're setting up habits and to-dos and those kinds of things. Remember that you may need to pull back a little bit so that you can actually let your body have what it needs. But believe me, I know it can be so frustrating to have a health issue that stops you from doing what you want to do. But hopefully this soon shall pass, and you can maybe make a to-do after I feel better list. That could be helpful as well. You're like, I know I'm not going to do that this week because I'm still not feeling good, but I want to write it down so that I can remember. So take good care of yourselves as you go forward. So let's move on to those to-dos, right? And I also want to stress, especially for our new folks, don't overwhelm yourself with lots of to-dos, with lots of goals, with lots of habits. I know it's tempting because a lot of times we see all these great ideas and suggestions that pop through in the chat and we think, oh my gosh, I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. So again, do what feels right for you for the week and take note at the end of the week on how that worked, right? Are there a lot of things you didn't get done? Were there some things that you wrote down that just were never going to happen? And then keep that in mind when you set up your next week. So here's some different ways that people have set this up. Up in the top left-hand corner, they've divided it into work, play, clean, and let go. So things they want to let go of. So they have kind of that quadrant of different things maybe that they want to do at work, things they want to do that's more fun and play, things that they need to do to clean. I know a lot of our Sonder fam are trying to do a lot of decluttering, a lot of cleaning, a lot of working on that environment space that we were talking about replenishing. And then the one down in the bottom left has it divided into need, like here's the things I need to do. And then here's the things I want to do. I've seen some people that say they have it down as like a need and then a delightful or like a must have, must do these things, and then delightful, but not absolutely necessary, right? So want to, and then hope, right? Like I hope that able to work on this. I've also seen a lot of people who have make bingos. I love making bingo in my to-do list. I only do a 3x3 bingo in the to-do list. And I try to put down maybe some things that I might not have done had it not been in a bingo. So that's kind of a fun way to check things off, because I know we love our bingos. Other people like to use it as a ta-da list, right? Like ta-da, and they add things as they get them done for the week. Love doing that. I love writing down things I've already done so I can cross them off. Or then you can just straight to-do list. A lot of people like to use sticky notes, post-it notes in some of these sections, so that if they decide they want to kind of rearrange or do something different or make something new, they can kind of take that off and use that. And then the one in the bottom right is using the little matrix where it has do. So here's some things I have to do. Here's some things I have to decide, do I want to do? Here's some things that I want to delegate. And here's some things that I want to delete out of my life. Oops, I'm going too far. So I'll let you kind of look at these as examples. You can let us know how you're using it, what kinds of things you're going to put in your to-do list, and then I'll pop back in and check to see how everyone's doing. All right. So again, lots of different ideas. And that's what's so great about this. You can do something different every week too, right? Maybe something worked really well last week and you want to stick with that. I saw some people were saying, I have no problem moving my unfinished to-dos over to, the next week to see if I can get them done that week. Perfectly fine. I love that we have the team tada and team bullet list and team bingo. We have the people who really like the different ways to set up. And again, this is your journal. This should never be something that you feel like, oh, I should make a bullet list or I should use it as tada list because everybody else says that they love it, right? Like, no, this is for you. And it should work for you. And it does take some time. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know how long it took me to finally realize that the bingo thing, I was kind of digging because before I'd kind of do a bullet list and then it kind of got lost. So again, kind of do what works. And again, notice kind of what worked this week, what works next week. What do I need for this week versus next week? People talking about using it for like a packing list when you go on vacation or you're taking a trip. You don't need to do that every week. So it doesn't need to be like that. And I saw some quick comments there. Missy said, I did get to the point where this was feeling like something I had to do and I was trying to overdo everything. I have refocused and now my goals are simple. They aren't tasks. They're things like self-love, never give up, stay curious, be kind, things like that. Trying to make it more about mental and emotional well-being than a chore list. And I love that. That is great, right? Sometimes it does not help to make these long to-do lists and then we stare at them and we're so stressed out. And like Bailey's saying in the chat, she 100% used my journals for almost a full year before I even used those weekly pages, just so focused on monthly and still got so much out of the journals. So never be afraid to do what works for you and to go at your own pace. And Alicia said, this will be my first week trying a bingo. And I'm trying to put the bare minimum of chores and filling the rest with self-care. Absolutely. I realized, and a lot of us facilitators have had this experience where we always facilitate, we only do the pages and the things that we facilitate and we neglect the rest of the journal. So definitely have been trying to put in there like attend a social as a participant. So do those kinds of fun things, right? So again, lots of great ideas. Everybody is doing awesome with coming up with these things. Do what works for you. So now we're just going to scooch over to the other side, our weekly major 3 goals. I have this quote about plant seeds every single day that you know who you are, you know what you're about, and you know what goals you've set for yourself. So again, you can kind of look back at how you wanted to feel this week and think about those goals. You can use your either your August intentions or your September intentions if you're switching over to that to help you set these up. Maybe look at previous journals to see what kind of goals you might still have that you want to accomplish. Frame your goals around a single personal challenge if you want that idea of a challenge. Create 3 no goals that affect your life. So maybe things like no alcohol, no doom scrolling, no more than a certain number of minutes, no excessive spending, those kinds of things. So things you don't want to do, or goals for things you don't want to have happen. You can also repurpose with things like quotes and podcasts, movies, 3 topics you want to know about, 3 new recipes you want to try. And hey, you can do a bingo board in this one too, right? So I really liked the quote on the left where it says, my goal is no longer to get more done, but rather to have less to do. So maybe there's some things you can take off your plate. Maybe some goals are to release and say no to some things. Or, spending, I had put, this was my goal a while back, was about spending more time in nature, spending time in my community, doing intentional, purposeful work. Someone else had put create 5 nature Instagram posts, doing style book looks and a calendar setup. This was for back in April. Social plans lined up. So again, kind of, it can be a goal, it can be quotes, kind of whatever you need to make this section work for you. Or you could just use it as a space to doodle, whatever works for you. All right, lots of great conversation about different things, different ways that everyone's using this. This particular section, I saw someone had put that they always have one goal that's personal, one that's business, and then a third one that's rotating. So they rotate financial, spiritual, fitness, or creative as a different kind of goal. I also, there's my quote again. I also saw lots of folks asking about TED Talks, because I think that sometimes is in, Jenny said she got that as a journal prompt. So TED Talks, if you Google them, they're on YouTube, usually short-ish, 5-7 minute long, different kinds of fun, on like every topic, right? On all kinds of different things. And so sometimes it's fun to find one that kind of has, maybe presents an alternate way of thinking about them from a perspective of someone who comes from a different background as you. So, and there's tons of them out there to look through. So those are always kind of fun. Trying to see what else. We had lots and lots of different fun. Kathy said every week I have a relax and reconnect goal. The third changes. This week it's refocus. So different, again, different kinds of ways to think about what you want for these goals. And I really like the idea of, you know, your goals are kind of something that maybe are maybe a little more general, maybe something a little more long-term. Maybe I want to do this by the end of the year. I want to have this much money in the bank. I want to have X number of credit cards paid off. I want to have logged a certain number of miles on my Fitbit, or you know, riding my bike or something like that. So lots of fun, different ideas for things to put in here for your weekly 3 goals. So let's move on to our habit and activity tracker. So again, sometimes this feels overwhelming, especially for our new folks. You're like, oh my gosh, I've got monthly habits, I've got weekly habits, I've got, right? Like, don't overwhelm yourself. The way we kind of see this is the weekly is a little bit different from the monthly. So monthly habits are usually things you want to do every day, like take your vitamins or spend 5 minutes outside, use your Silk and Sonder journal, whatever. And then the weekly habits are things maybe you only want to do a few times during the week. And they're very specific maybe to that week. So here's some examples. And the other thing I always want to point out is you never have to fill in every single little space, right? No one's going to see your journal. So you can have, like you see the one up in the top, they just have 3, right? Read for 20 to 30 minutes, write in my journal, draw and color. And they've said their goal to do that is 7 times a week or 4 times a week or 3 times. And they've circled the days that they think they're going to make that happen. So that's one way to kind of help as you plan out your week. I like to do it the bottom left, where it's kind of a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 idea. So the first thing I want to do 5 times this week, second thing 4 times, third thing 3 times, fourth thing 2 times, and the last thing 1 time. And then it's always exciting when I have the thing that I only need to do 1 time this week. And that's very exciting when I get that done, and then I can cross that off the list. So this week I will tell you my one thing I want to do 1 time this week is I want to actually listen to a daily ritual on that day. I'm very bad about saying I want to listen to the daily rituals and getting a little behind. So on the app, I want to listen to that. Or then you can see this other person has some other things where they want to do 7 times, 3 times, 2 times. Again, you can have just 1. You can do, you know, if you're like, this is too much, I've already got lots of stuff everywhere else, I think I'm good. Again, stickers over this part, color over this part. You can leave it blank. No one's checking your journal. You know, do what you need to do. And I'll also throw this up if you're like, I don't have an idea. I want to have an idea for something to do. Yeah, and Kristen's saying I never put in a goal or a total. I like to mark them off, but I don't want to put myself with those expectations or give myself a reason to feel like a failure if I don't meet a number. So I've definitely seen some people who just use a sticky or a little dot, and then they just color in and they don't actually say the number of times that they want to do that. So I'll let you spend a little bit of time working on that, and then we will check back in. So lots of good ideas again, for different different things you can put in here. I saw one person had changed they had the habit of, wake up at 6 a.m. and then realize sometimes that's not a realistic goal, right? Different things happen. Sometimes you have to get more sleep, sometimes get up earlier, get up later. So just saying arise at a predetermined time, right? So kind of putting in something. I also had suggested putting in something that maybe you already do, maybe something that you're a really, something that's already a habit. I make my bed every morning. It's just an ingrained habit, but sometimes if I feel like I need an easy win, I put that on the list and then I can check that off. So again, kind of doing what works for you with this particular section. So let's move on. Let's flip over to our next page with our meal plan. So this is one of our most requested, how can I repurpose this, right? Because people are like, I don't really plan my meals. I don't really track my food. Obviously, it's good for doing that. Some people like to use it for house cleanup. So they have like cleanup tasks that they put on there for each day. Some people use this to log the daily affirmations from the app so that they have those written down. Some people plan out their wardrobe, right? So kind of thinking what they're going to wear for each day. You can do gratitude log, lots of different things. I definitely like to use it to track dinners so that I know what we're having for dinner every night, because otherwise I feel like that's the thing I never thought of as an adult. I would have to spend so much time thinking about what I was going to eat for dinner all the time. So it's kind of nice. My husband and I on Sunday, we sit down, we're like, what are we going to eat? We plan it out, go to the grocery store, and then I always know. So that makes life a lot easier. And here's some other examples of some different pictures of different things people have done, tracking steps, tracking when they go, if they go on to a social or they do some other things. Their kind of idea for getting things ready for a celebration of life. And then GLAD, which is, Bailey's going to have to help me remember what the GLAD stands for. Grateful, laughter. I don't remember. Bailey will help me. Or if anybody else remembers what GLAD, or different acronyms, right, for kind of tracking different things. Oh, Amber, is that yours? I was thinking the D stood for donuts. What? but maybe you don't have donuts every day, but I think that would be good. But so again, kind of like, what are some things that you want to track? And again, you don't have to use this section. You can doodle, you can put stickers, you can kind of do whatever works for you. So I'll let you spend a little bit of time thinking about how, oh, there, Amber's going to pop that in. Grateful, learned, accomplished, and delighted. Delight by donuts, for example. Yes, excellent. I love it. So again, we'll let you spend some time getting that filled out, and then I will check back in. right. So lots of different ideas of different ways that you can use this. And I definitely suggest to our new folks, if you're not quite sure, pick one way that you've heard or one of the things that maybe you've seen on here. Try it out this week, see how it works. And if it doesn't work, that's the great thing. Next week, you can try something different, and now you know. And again, different weeks require different things. Sometimes when I'm traveling, that's kind of my itinerary that I'll write on each week, like, what am I doing this day? What am I doing this day? But again, it kind of depends. I make it work for me, right? So make it work for you. So let's go into the mind body health plan. So again, lots of different ways, different things that we can track here. The main idea is to track things that you're doing or that you want to do or that you're planning to do for your mind and your body. So a lot of folks like to use this with the 7 types of rest. This came from the Silk and Sonder Instagram. So if you don't follow them on Instagram, I would recommend that because they always have lots of fun ideas. So you can maybe track some different physical, mental, sensory, creative, emotional, social, and spiritual. And you can see that the person up on the top, whoops, sorry about that. You can see up at the top kind of someone who used that that way. You can also see the person on the bottom who used it as kind of what they already did. So they finished a book, dressed up for an interview, right? So they use that to keep track of things that they had already done. And I'm sorry for folks who are losing sound. I'm not really sure what the issue is with some of those, but I think most people can hear me. And I know Bailey says she can hear me. So you can always, we'll post a link at the end to the YouTube link so you can get that if you need to pick back up again. There's another, comes from Silk and Saunders. So ways, 4 types of self-care to practice, emotional, physical, social, and mental. And then again, these came from I'll cycle back and forth through these so you can kind of see some of those different things to do. So I'll just give you a few minutes because I know we're kind of running short on times, make sure everybody gets things done. And I know the sound is kind of being wonky. So hopefully you'll have some time to kind of fill that out. right. So again, some different fun ideas for ways people use this. Some people use it just to track what they had done during the day for themselves. It's not another to-do list of things they have to do. It's just kind of a keeping track of how things went and what they did for themselves. So again, lots of different ideas, ways to use this, and you know, it's a size you could do a bingo in there too. So real quick, let's look at the shopping list and then we'll look at the last one. So again, you can use this just as a regular shopping list. You can use this as, I did a little bingo for pictures I wanted to take one week, kind of just for some fun summer, I call it summer snaps, just some summer pictures. We're getting into fall now, so maybe I'll think of some fun fall ones. Symptom tracker, gift ideas, errand list, those kinds of things. And then I'll also let you work on this I am loving page. So I just put up a picture of my kitty. This is R2. She was being very precious, sitting on some fluffy white rug. So I thought I would put up a little kitty picture here. So again, I'll let you work on that and then we'll pop back in, show you a few other things really quickly before you have to leave. Goodness, where does the time go? I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's getting later and I know people are probably wanting to have dinner and finish up their Sunday evening. So be sure you share pictures. You don't have to, I should say that, but we love when you share pictures in the Sonder Club because people can get some really good ideas. So especially for our new folks, we don't necessarily go over the section because it's so highly personalizable. Is that a word, personalizable? So here's just some ideas of different things that people have done that have posted in Sonder Club, different ways that they have used this section. I do lots of different things. Sometimes it's all just listy bullet point stuff. Sometimes I have it broken out into different things. You can see this person kind of has the affirmations written down there. Lots of people like their stickers. A lot of folks ask, like, what do we put for the one thing? That can be really anything that you want. Maybe it's the one thing you're like, I absolutely have to do this today. If I get nothing else done, this is the thing I have to do. Or maybe it's one great thing, like here's something that was really fun today. Here's something that made me laugh. Any of those kinds of things. All right. So super fast hour that we have together. Hopefully everyone was able to get a good start on their week, either if you're using the August or you're using September or you're being super ambitious and doing both. So I hope you have a great week. We've got lots of great socials coming up, lots of fun things in September. We have some September setups if you haven't set up your month yet. So make sure to hop on those. We have we always have our early morning Monday setup as well, our weekly setup. So, and you can always check these out in the watch the replay on YouTube. The chat's not there, but the recording is. And I think Bailey popped that link in there. We also have these little QR codes. You should get a survey. So please take a few moments, fill out the survey, let us know things you want to see in some of the socials, things you'd like to see us address, if there's anything specific, if you'd like a social on. We do have a new refer a friend program. So if you refer a friend, you can scan that little code. You get $10 and they get $10 off on Silk and Sonder product. You can also, hopefully everybody's in the club and Sonder Club app, so you can keep sharing. And then there's the YouTube link for the social recordings. I always like to tell people, please bookmark that once you get to it, because you can't search it. It's not searchable. It's not available to the public, really. It's just for us, our Sonder fam. And then I also have my playlist here from Spotify, so you can snap a quick picture of that if there were any of the songs that you were like, what was that song? I want to kind of see that song. So we're ready to go blazing into September, right? We're got everything all set up, ready to go. I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous week, fabulous month, and I hope I see you again soon on one of these socials. Take care.